of JR, good old JR to be exact. The number, God, correct me if I'm wrong here, but then, what was the other ones? You can help me out here, man.
Number 10, ThePottles.
Number 10 of Pottles. I skipped over her. Number 10 of Pottles of Throttle. And then the number 20 of Sludge. We'll do battle here at Kentucky for that season championship. But again, we got a bunch of other drivers ready here tonight to out for this one. What an incredible racing season it has been. So many highlights, so many crazy moments. I can't think of one moment that really was better than the other, but Sludge, Sludge, calling you Sludge now. Dirt, what would you say has probably been the best moment?
I would have to say the race at Texas was pretty interesting. There was just a lot of lead changes, a lot of strategy going on there. It was a lot of fun to watch. And plus we had some crazy sliders being thrown at that track with how slick that track wound up being on worn tires. So that was probably my favorite race this season.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the better ones. That was a lot of craziness going on there. I always said Iowa usually was a better place, but not in this case. So let's go live down, stop chatting, and get to the track. 10 of the best going at it here for one last chance at the season championship.
It's going to be a wild race. Homestead is definitely a wild card track. Normally it's turn 4 you got to look out for in this game.
Wait. We're not on Homestead. That's Xfinity Series, my amigo.
Well, man, I've been getting some bad information in the messenger then.
What have I told you about listening to Messenger without me telling you how to do it? God
Listen,
Lord.
I think we need to fire the producers, alright?
The producer had said flat out, like, here's the schedule, here's how the laps go. So since you forgot how this goes, let me explain to our great viewers at home how the heck this works. So, here at Kentucky Truck Championship for the Season 6 finale, what will happen is these drivers will start immediately. So you're going to see them right now. They're going to get lined up into position. So the top 4 being Sludge, Sparkalicious, JR, and Pottles. They will line up in individual order via their draw from how they finished in the season. That's where they will start. And then everyone behind them will finish where they finished in the points race. So you will see that here in just a minute. So while they get lined up here, let's go ahead and talk to you guys about how this race is going to go down. The fuel run tonight is a 25-lap fuel cut. Stage 1 will be 17 laps. Stage 2 is 16 laps. And the final stage will be a crucial one, as it'll be 42 laps, a 75-lap race to the end on a 50% 2 times wear race. What a way to go out. We always know what the tire wear and the length of the race is going to be, but 75 laps here in Kentucky. I can tell you from past experience, this track is tough as can be, and it is a heck of a track to try and win on. I can't wait to see what kind of moments these guys are going to bring here in just a minute.
Absolutely. Turn 1 on this track is kind of interesting because the way the progressive banking works and just how slick the car can get, it's kind of more about just making sure you hold the bottom than it is anything else. Really, it's a slow corner comparatively to, when you put it side by side with a few other mile-and-a-half tracks. You really only stay up to about 170 mile an hour on a set of fresh tires in turn 1. So a lot slower, but a lot more technical than some other tracks. But we're getting ready to stack them up and go green for the final race of the season here at PTM Truck Series.
The final race of the PTM Season 6 Truck Series is underway, and already out of the gate, Sludge with a good restart as he will maintain the lead at the start. Number 88 of JR following right behind him. Oh, how did I say that? The old broadcaster's curse comes into play. JR spinning out into turn 2. I'm not even sure what happened there, folks, but he just went spinning out of control already.
Problems early for a playoff contender of JR in that 88 truck. I can tell you exactly what happened there. He just caught that apron a little bit. I mentioned just a minute ago, turn 1 is extremely technical compared to some other mile-and-a-halves in this game, and I think that shows right there how technical it can be, how it's difficult to navigate even holding your line through there. So it's early in the race. He's got a chance for a comeback. Our winner last week had issues earlier in the race and came back, so don't count him out yet, but that is going to give us a shake-up in the battle for the lead right now, as it is Sludge just barely holding off Sparkalicious in that 16 as they go nose-to-nose through 3 and 4 into the tri oval.
Sparkalicious looking for everything he's had this entire season, had a great run in the later half of the series. He had a good start at Michigan where he ended up finishing, I believe it was 3rd place there on a podium finish. And really, ever since then, he has never really looked back or never really been in the sights of trouble, or as he likes to say, problems. But nonetheless, he has been a force to be reckoned with in Season 6, and he's been just trying everything he can to find a way around Sludge. And right now, this is pretty much carbon copy of the past races he's raced on, as he looks early on for the early advantage. Remember, stage points do not matter anymore, folks. What matters is that final stage. How do you race on that final stage is how you will finish on the final stage, because if you're not in that first place spot, forget about it. It doesn't matter anymore. The points are out, and right now you can see a little bit of a battle going on in the back. That's a battle for 5th here, as one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy and the number 22 and the number 3 of Oaksy and the number 52 of Hoppy doing battle here side by side out of turn 3. And as I say that, Oaksy going high and losing a lot of ground. Hoppy and McCarthy will outrun him on the straightaway.
Yeah, I think Oaksy might have got the wall a little bit there, but it was a good recovery by him to be able to kind of keep as much momentum as he did. I mean, sometimes you get up on that wall and it's like Gorilla Glue, man. It just holds you up there and won't let you go. So he kind of lucked out there with how that played out. But he's now giving the 52 of Hoffy a run for his money, trying to get back around him and reclaim that lost time.
Yeah, here comes Hoffy and Oaksy and that number 3. I want to say Hubby, but it's like you get these two confused. But nonetheless, Oaksy right now showing I'm not getting anything confused except getting past Hoppy in that 52 as he is successful out of turn 4 and overtakes him for 6. But right now, they've got a little bit of ground to make up. They want to catch up to the one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy. Follows the throttle, and number 15, G Free. Surprise, surprise. He's actually up in the top half right now, so he's actually doing pretty good so far. Not bad for the rookie.
Absolutely. G Pre, you know, he might not have been running up front a lot this season, but I got to race around him quite a bit in the Xfinity race last week there at Iowa, and he really did a great job holding his line, making consistent laps, and that's what you want to see out of a rookie. You don't need to come out of the gates and start winning races right away, but you do have to have that little bit of potential show through, and I definitely saw that with G Pre, and I'm excited to see where he goes in future seasons. And going back up towards the front of the field, I think, and this is just speculation, I think the 16 of Spark is actually fighting a tight truck. He's running a much higher line than the leader of Sludge, and I mentioned earlier that at this track you really want to hold the bottom as much as you can without clipping that apron. And it just seems like Sludge is able to dive that truck down to the apron and get it a little bit closer to that yellow line, whereas Sludge is Spark is almost always about half a lane up, sometimes even a lane or two, depending on how he gets his entry. So he's going to have to make some adjustments on that car, I think, if he wants to keep up, because right now it is pure domination by Sludge, because there's a big gap between first and second, and then an even bigger gap to third, which is the 10-car Pottles. So we got a big breakaway up, you know, for our championship contenders.
I feel like the difference is for Sparkalicious right now, and the difference for Sludge is that Sludge is running off of strictly just what he started off, which was the preset he had chosen. And the same goes for Sparkalicious and everyone else in the field. But the thing is, folks, is like what Sturt was talking about was when you start into the race, you are only given a select setup that you have to run from the start. But after you get into a caution or you go into the pits, you are allowed to do a pittage and fix up that car to loosen or tighten. In this case, the trucks are extremely tight at the start for this, but when they get into the groove of things, they can loosen up. And I think right now what Sparkalicious is doing is he's trying to play the long run game. As I say that, in the back, number 19, it's Boyo getting way into the wall on turn 4. You can say he was doing a little bit of wall banging there. He got really up into that grill a bit.
He was just doing the field of service. He's calibrating the wall, making sure it's set right, and now that everybody knows it's calibrated right, they don't got to worry about it. So yeah, just doing a service.
Yeah, you might as well say he's just making sure that the wall doesn't break through, so I guess that's one way to look at it. But nonetheless, right now, it's pretty much all but straightened out that these guys are just kind of separating out from one another. I feel like ever since that restart for Sludge, he's really had a great opening round against everybody, but he has to still survive through the final stage. Stage 2, he doesn't have to worry about so much. He just needs to make sure he stays in good position to get around everybody on that final race of the stage. But the biggest thing is that a lot of these guys are just patiently waiting and patiently taking their time to get ready for that big moment when the time comes, because right now we're coming down on the last laps of stage 1. I'm not sure we're at currently on the stage laps. Could you give me a lap counter there, producer, or whoever one?
Yes, sir. So we are on lap 13 of 17, coming to lap 14 when they cross the stripe this time. So we got a few laps here left in the stage. I tell you what, I've been riding along with McCarthy, and she is slowly reeling in G3 and Pottles. So if she can actually somehow get around Pottles for third by the end of the stage, that would be an inside row 2 starting position. And hey, she's not in it for the championship, but she can still go out on top, and I think she wants to. So here she goes on the inside of the 18, making the
inside
lunge.
of the 18, close there, man.
That was real close. She ran him a little bit high, but there was no contact. So yeah, that was just a bit of a move that some of these drivers use, where you kind of force them up as high as you can go without actually hitting them, and then you get that lunge down into the corner and that speed going down the banking, and that helps you make the pass of McCarthy now up into P4, hunting down Pottles for P5 as Pottles crosses the line for 3 to go in the stage.
It's actually P3 there, my friend, just for the record. So, anyway, moving on from that, Pottles the Throttle right now still doing pretty good on her end. She's holding out a pretty good truck here. So, there's one thing I can tell you, though, from studying her racing over the years, is that she has a very different kind of style when she runs in the season championship. Her mindset is she's going to kind of hold off as long as she can until literally the last minutes to really push that thing to its limits. It's a very smart strategy that even greats like the Rattlesnake Archon have used before. Even no ship, no pit, don't ever call him Pit Pendle, has used before as well. And a lot of the greats, you know, in their series that we ran before, you'll see them save up a little bit if they can, but they always will try to find that one line that they can hit over and over again to get faster each time without necessarily burning the tires up too much. And right now, from my point of view, the one that's what Texas McCarthy is going to give Miss Pottles the run here. Here comes the other lady of our series. She's giving a little bit of a run to Pottles Throttle, trying to get her on the front stretch. Not quite side by side just yet, but getting ever so slightly, trying to figure out which way to go.
And they are nose to tail for third place right now. That's the battle. And they're on the white flag lap of the stage as well, so it's going to be over when they cross the stripe this time. In the meantime, the leader, Sludge, is going to come out of turn 4 and pretty securely get that stage win, while these ladies battle it out behind them. And man, I think these drivers are probably pretty glad the stage is over, because I think they're starting to fight the tire wear. I was riding along with some of these guys in the back, and I noticed Are You My Dad, Hoffy, and Oaksy, all 3 of them getting loose consecutively out of turn 2, which is a bit of a trouble spot at this track. Still, I bet you these guys are excited to get some Goodyear tires on these cars.
Indeed, and I can definitely tell you right now, when you get fresh Goodyears on them tires, man, it's like the best feeling in the world. It's like getting the keys to Daddy's car. Like, you just want to drive that thing harder and just don't even care what happens. It's just, I've got it, I don't care.
Absolutely. So the top 10 for that stage is going to be Sludge, Spark, Pottles, McCarthy, G3, Oaksy, Hoffy, Are You My Dad, JR, and It's Bolio. So that was a pretty interesting stage. I was kind of surprised how much separation we got. I think the 88 spinning early on kind of contributed a little bit to that separation. I think maybe it knocked a few of the drivers out of the drafting range, which might have kept them afloat. But had a couple good battles that stage, man. These guys, you know, in the back, they were going for it even early on. So
as we get re-racked and restacked here, folks, here we go as they're going to line up for stage 2. The dirt track in Courtesy Chrysler and Jeep Truck Series finale is underway, and Sparkalicious had not got a restart off that. He did not go.
No, just a bad restart for the outside line. And sometimes the NASCAR heat officiators don't exactly start both lines at the exact same time. It's a bit of a weird issue that we've had throughout the series, and it's really nobody's fault, but I think he might have fallen victim to that. I'm not sure he did anything wrong there. That might have just been the outside lane getting a slightly, tenth of a second late jump. But man, a move for the lead. The Pottles goes 3 wide with McCarthy and Sludge for a minute going through the trial, and it's Pottles up into the lead, which will be the championship position, but don't breathe yet. You can't keep holding your breath, because here comes the 20 on the inside, trying to make the move.
Follows the Throttle with a big move after the one Don't Mess with Texas. McCarthy came up into Sludge's grill and said, I don't care where I'm finishing this season, I will not be denied a win. And that Follows the Throttle just came sliding in and was like, yeah, you two fight it out. I don't really give a damn. I'm coming in for the win here, boys and girls. And Follows the Throttle now maintains the lead away from Sludge. The number 20 is going to have a little bit of work to But nonetheless, there is the pit adjustments might come into play, and tire saving may come in later. But here comes Sludgy in that number 20 trying to find a way around, but Pottles slams the door quicker than most bad relationships ending on that night as Pottles the Throttle just continues to lead the pack.
Man, this is really close. It is absolutely nose to tail. They have got to be just bump drafting around this 1.5 mile track, and we all know that Sludge is a pretty aggressive driver. If he sees a gap, he's going to go for it. And so I think the Pottles has their hands full trying to keep that 20 car behind her. And while that's going on, I'm seeing Sparkalicious start to catch up just a little bit, lap by lap. So he might have made some good adjustments to that car. It does look like he's able to get it closer to that yellow line, which is where you want to be. And Sludge is on the apron. The Pottles going to follow him down there to make the block, and somehow they both keep it straight. Man, when I seen the left side tires go across that yellow line, I was waiting for the 20 truck to go for a ride. But man, what a absolute drive by that 20 truck to keep it straight. I don't, to you guys at home, you might not understand how risky a move like that is. When you touch that apron, sometimes the car just completely spins out and there's nothing you can do about it. So to keep that going without wrecking is very impressive. He didn't even lose any speed, so crazy there. But now the Pottles getting a little bit of separation, not much, as the 20 gets a better run out of the corner. Now trying to look high, with Spark looking low. Player 3 has entered the battle, and Spark is going to make it 3 wide. He looks at the middle. Nope, he's going low. Contact between the 10 and the 20, going into 1 and 2.
So the number 10 of Pottles the Throttle holding off Sludge yet again, and actually in a way holding off Sparkalicious. Sparkalicious was trying to find an opening, saw a few spots he could have hit, but unlike other games where you can find a way in there, this is not something you can just mess around with. You try to go into that opening and you get caught on that apron, you will lose it on this track, because that apron is the key to success. It's the key to failure as well. And Sparkalicious now is going to give Sludge a little bit of a run there off the draft, maybe trying to get that high line to work. We'll see if maybe he can get it to work here. Pottles the Throttle, though, maintaining the bottom line and staying away from the other two combatants. All 4 drivers in the championship hunt are right in their positions from first to fourth. And right now, Sludge is giving everything he's got, just trying to get around Pottles the Throttle on the outside. But the bottom line is the golden girl tonight. As Sparkalicious is now trying to get a bit of a run off of Pottles the Throttle, coming down low off the front stretch, side by side down that way, a little bit of rocky, a little bit all over the place. Those tires might be taking a beating right now if I had to guess, but Pottles the Throttle holds on. But here comes Sludge, and Sparkalicious on the inside and slams the door yet again. I'm not sure how many relationship goals have been crushed here tonight, but Pottles the Throttle keeps destroying their goals here tonight as she continues to slam the door on the other combatants.
And it looks like the 20 truck of Sludge is going to make the move here. Side by side, coming across the stripe. Battle isn't over yet. She could fight back on the high side, but I'll tell you, the 20 truck's playing a dangerous game. It seems like every lap he's touching that apron. And I think you can only get away with that so many times before Lady Luck comes to bite you in the butt. So I don't know if he's going to continue to do that now that he has the lead. He has taken up into P1. Does he continue to use the apron with that risky line? It's a little bit faster, but oh man, yes he does. Down onto the apron. He is the only driver doing it, as a 16 now gets underneath the 10, and he's going to get the run up into P2, and he's going to try to challenge the 20 truck. I think he might have something for him.
Say what you will, folks, but Sludge right now is making this track look a little bit easier than it should be. That apron is not a zone you can mess up on. We've known it before to throw drivers off their game and off the track, and right now he's actually been able to hold off on that as Sparkalicious and Pottles do battle for second. But right now they got to realize something. If they let Sludge get away from them a little bit, Sludge can just run away and take it all. They can't let that happen. They got to find a way around that and start to draft with each other to catch back up and make something work out of it. But here comes JR on that number 88. Good old JR trying to figure out something after that mishap on the first lap of stage 1. He's looking to get back into this and get back into the hunt. Can he find a way back into the race from that disastrous restart? It would be an outhouse to the White House situation, but knowing JR, he's fast enough to do it. But can he outperform the strong beast that is Sludge right now and the 2 defenders right behind him?
Absolutely. Now the 20 truck does seem to be extending his lead just a little bit, and we're going to cross the line for 3 to go in the stage now. So not much time to make a move if he's going to make it. What I'm curious about is does Spark maybe try to let the Pottles around him since stage points don't matter so he can get that inside third place starting position? That would be an interesting strategy, but I'm not sure he's going to risk it. Also, the tires are starting to wear pretty bad on these trucks. These last few laps of the stage are going to be a bit of a handful for these guys. And then we're going into stage 3, which I think is going to be the most difficult stage of the race because I do believe there is going to be green flag pit stops. And by the time they get to that point, those tires are going to be absolutely demolished.
Remember last time, though, we had a green flag pit stop when we were running on this series. Remember what Pottles and Throttle did. She outsmarted everybody when it came to that moment. She was able to make the move and make the jump to pit road when she needed to at the right time, and that gave her the advantage, not only at Watkins Glen, but at Texas Motor Speedway, and that was what got her the win there. If she's going to have to do it perfectly here tonight, it definitely could be her night to lose, but right now, Sludge and Sparkalicious just continuing to kind of get away from her a little bit. So I think right now, Pottles and Throttle, if I was her, I'm thinking this is smart strategy. Just keep third and sit that inside line restart because the inside line is going to be much better of a turn without that draft.
Absolutely, and we're on the last lap of the stage as the 16 truck caught the wall a little bit on exit. That's something that happens sometimes when the car gets loose and you're afraid to steer left real hard on exit. You let it drift up, and sometimes you catch that wall. But it's going to be Sludge that wins stage 2, so he has swept both of the first stages, and Pottle's going to come in a not so distant third place. So it's going to be an interesting start to stage 3.
Indeed, but remember what we said earlier, folks. These first 2 stages, they don't mean jack. What you need to do is win that last stage. How bad do you want to be a champion, Sludge? How bad do you want to finally be on the pedestal that many greats have come through in PTM racing history and made it to the top of the mountain? If you want to win here, you're going to have to do it now. You're going to have to push everything you got and be smart with the strategy. But here's the thing, folks, and we haven't said this earlier. The 4 drivers right now that are in the top 4 to battle, if any of those guys and gals wreck at any point, we will go to a manual restart. Only if one of those drivers, and if there's a 3-car pileup, will we then do a manual restart. So now, I'm very interested to see with that strategy in mind, how do they take that into perspective.
Alright, we're pulling those belts tight one more time as we're going green for stage 3. It's a Sludge and Spark first row, just like it has been all race long. But again, the outside line just not getting that jump, and Pottle's going to get to the bottom of the 16 and make the move into P2, as we're almost going to go 3 wide with JR, McCarthy, and Hoffey for just a moment. And here comes Oaksy. He's running up challenging for third.
Oaksy in that number 3 machine trying to push up a little bit and possibly give the high top 4 the run for their money. As he brings it back down, JR will get a little bit of a better start off that. As we go in the back of the pack here, a little bit of a battle. I'd say probably around for about 7th or 6th as Are You My Dad in that number 54 and Hoffey in the 52 doing a little bit of a war here with one another. But right now the battle also going back up front. Pottles, the Throttle has made a move around Sludge, the number 20. I'm not sure what happened there, folks, but a great move on her end to take the lead back away from Sludge. But now here's the thing. Will she hold him off long enough this time to finally get that win? Sludge is a little bit all over the place out of the turn 1, 2, and there looks like he might be having some connection problems and maybe having a blown motor problem. Let's see if that motor holds up and see if that truck holds up as well. He was getting really loose out of turn 4 there.
That he was, and also, I don't know what happened to JR there. He was fighting for third. Now he's back in P5, battling for fourth with McCarthy there, and Oaksy as well. He's back there. But he looked like he had a lot of speed, but just a slight mistake, I think, cost him there. But man, what a battle for the lead right now. Almost a mirror image of most of stage 2. We got Pottles and Sludge battling it out. I think Pottles' issue last stage was that she just wore her tires off trying to defend so hard from Sludge. And in that situation, there's not much you can really do. I mean, you got to defend, you got to drive hard. But let's see who decides to play a little bit of strategy, who takes it easy on their equipment and tries to make that long run sort of strategy work.
You're going to have to see who blinks here first. And right now, Sludge is going to see if Pottles will blink first. But Pottles says, I don't think so, boy. And takes back the lead away from Sludge. As Sludge is putting that front bumper into that rear bumper of hers. But in this case, right now, she is blending in with that track. As good as that camo looks on that truck, she is currently just holding out Sludge for everything it's worth. Just trying to finally break the curse and get one more season championship out on her title belt. As she currently holds the lead still, but we've got plenty of racing to go. And here comes Sludge on the inside now, trying to make Pottles pay for that up high move. Pottles bringing it back down, saving it there. May have overdrove it a little bit in the turn. You got to give credit where credit's due to Pottles and Sludge. They're giving everything they got, but how much of those tires they burn? And as I say that, Sparkalicious number 16 side by side with Sludge out of turn 2. He managed to get his way back up into the running. He was looking for a run there. Couldn't quite get it.
Indeed. Now, man, they are really running that high line. I can confirm that Pottles actually nudged the wall a little bit on the back stretch. She was trying to get such a high line. And the reason they're doing that is because the higher you enter turn 3, the more momentum you can carry throughout the corner. And so that's what they're trying to do. But, man, here comes Sludge on the bottom again, trying to take it away. And no, there's going to be a little bit of contact as he slides up the track. And he's going to let off the throttle a little bit, almost brake checks the 16 as he recovers. Luckily, everybody was able to avoid the incident, but Pottles back to P1 after a risky move by the 20. Now the 16 challenging for second place. The 20's going to come down on the 16.
Woohoo!
Yeah, the 20 car turned down the track. I'm not sure he knew the 16 was there. The 16 did make a pretty quick move, so I wouldn't be surprised if the spotter just hadn't caught that yet. But
I don't think it's too big of a deal, honestly. Sludge seems like he's fast enough. He'll figure something out. But nonetheless, right now, this is just an absolute clinic. These guys are putting on. What a way to end the season for the Truck Series and moving into the Heat 5 territory when we get to that. But, man, you guys are catching this live or you're catching it later on. Thank you for tuning in. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for great action like this right now. As you can just see, the battle for the lead is all 4 drivers now in contention. The number 16 Sparkalicious is currently in second, but here comes Sludge trying to find anything and everything. He's going to throw everything to the wall, including the kitchen sink. He gets around. JR now trying to get a little bit of a draft off of that. Not quite able to get the exit he wanted out of turn 2. Sludge now regains second place. Holy smokes, folks. These guys just pushing everything they got to the limit. You could say putting the pedal to the metal, but right now, these guys are just flat out hitting this track like it's a dirt tracking series.
Maybe I'm inventing drama in my head, I'm not sure, but it looked like the 16 gave quite a shot to the 20 through 3 and 4. It kind of looked to me like, hey, watch your driving there kind of move, which maybe not a little too pleased with the way he got moved out of second, I don't know. But man, JR making a great comeback up into P4, and he definitely has very close at least to the pace that these leaders have. So he is still in it for the championship. And remember, we got another green flag stop, so if he could just make one more little tweak to his car, get it right where he wants it, I think he is going to be a force as he has been all season long. But, man, look at McCarthy, too. She's catching up. She was a little bit further back, but she has run them down, and she is going to join this lead pack and say, hey, don't forget about me. I'm still here.
Down to the last 28 laps here as we get an onboard camera with JR. You can just see what he's seeing right now, and that's the draft that saves your race and saves your line. And Sludge right now is just hoping to God that that draft will be enough to get around Pottles' throttle, because every time she opens up that high line, Sludge sees the opening, but he can't get the run because Sparkalicious is either giving him not enough of a push or he's not getting enough of that run that he needs to get ahead of. And right now, these guys at any minute can just change the race up and change everything completely up. Everyone in the back seems to be kind of spreading apart, so the battle is up for the grabs here. Battle for third now is one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy and good old JR, and the number 16 of Sparkalicious will do battle for third. And up front as well, the Pottles with Throttle still battling for first against Sludge. These guys just not giving an inch here, man. Holy smokes.
Yeah, they are really fighting, just bumper to bumper, door to door, not giving up an inch. And here comes JR up into P3, which I think if he can secure P3, that would be the highest up in the championship grid. No! The 88 goes around after contact with the 16.
Big trouble! And I'm pretty sure that's going to call a caution because the 88's involved in that one. But the question is, who was at the line at the restart? And that is actually a game caution. The flagman has his dang binoculars. Good on you, flagman. It took you a couple of races and pretty much took you the whole frickin' season, but good on you, sir. You finally found those binoculars.
And I can confirm that Pottles in the 10 had the lead at the moment of caution. So she's going to be restarting P1 barring any pit shenanigans. I believe this should make them... Ooh. Okay, I'm running some quick calculations. They're going to be really close. They're going to be either just even or a lap short on fuel. So they might not be in the clear unless they do a little bit of saving. It shouldn't be too hard to save a lap. But, man, wow. Okay, we had some drivers who opted not to pit, I believe.
Well, that was an interesting choice. Actually, no, I think everybody decided to pit on that one. As we go green flag high in the air one more time here, folks. We've got just over 20 laps remaining in this one. Bottles already with a good line off the front now, down turn 1 into 2. Sludge in the number 20 trying to find another gear, another rhythm, if you will. Here comes the number 52 of Hoffy and the number 3 of Oaksey. These guys have been battling in the back this whole time. Now they're putting it up in the front. They're trying to get into that upper half and be the spoiler for the winner here tonight as they just continue to douse the flames and douse the fire that's up front, trying to find any way they can to get into this race win. What a way it would be to upset these guys, especially on this track of all things.
Right, and we had a little bit of contact in the back of the pack there. It looked like the 88 and possibly the 54 had a little bit of, or 52, I'm sorry, had a little bit of a run-in, but nothing too major there as they continue to battle for the lead. The Pottles getting a little bit of a gap. I think that's the biggest gap for the lead we've seen pretty much in the last stage. So,
out of the front stretch, though, we got a little bit of a battle for 5th here as good old JR on that number 88 and the one you do not ever mess with her, Texas McCarthy, battling it out. But look at this, 3 wide in Kentucky. McCarthy went down low, could not get it to stick like Sludge has on that apron, but nonetheless manages to save it. Good on her for driving like that and holding it still as Are You My Dad, that number 54, just overtook her for 6. Woohoo! Man, these guys right now, it seems like the battle is everywhere in any which way you can find. Paul's the throttle finally seeming to get a bit of a run and a bit of a gap going on Sludge. But I also wonder, is Sludge trying to hold off on tires and fuel? Because right now he's been seeming conservative. He hasn't been trying to push it as much. And as I say that, he's pushing it down the apron yet again, just trying to get it to stick and find a run. But Paul's the throttle is overtaking and overshooting him by a mile on the bottom, which is not giving him any room to get off of that. He's going to have to figure out a way to get around that issue if he wants to win this race, because right now Pauls is not going to give him an inch, much less a win.
Yeah, definitely not going to make it easy on him, that's for sure. And I think the more he abuses that apron, the more his tires are going to wear, because you got to turn so sharp and you're kind of sliding the tires down there. So I'm not sure that's the best long-run strategy, but if it could get him to the lead, then that would definitely be the play to make. But, man, we got a three-way battle for the lead, and not too far behind him, JR has worked his way back through the field once again after his incident to be up into P4. So once again, 1 through 4 are the championship contenders. And, man, this front three are nose to tail.
This has definitely been a night for JR. He went from the back. He got pushed in. He was up on the front, to start, and then pushed into the back. Then finally, he found a way from the outhouse, and he was desperately trying to find his way into the White House. But right now, I'd say the first lady of PTM is currently just showing these boys up right now in the back as we are down to the last 16 laps. I am not sure how that fuel run is going to be, though, because they came in at about a lap short. And right now, Sludge is just trying to find every way he can and which way to Sunday. Here he comes down on the bottom of the inside of turn 3 into 4. Slams the door, though, does Pottles the throttle. Once again, the goal to get up to the front for Sludge has been denied access as Pottles just continuing to dominate this lead and taking away from Sludge. Sludge, the early aggressor in stage 1-2, got a good lead and a good run. Now he's been put back in the back, and he's now being put to the test. How bad does he want to win this, and how bad will he push it to get to that point? But Sparkalicious, do not count him out, folks. He has been fighting since the start of this season, fighting the Gremlins, fighting that bad luck he had last season. And right now he is looking for any which way he can up to the front as Sludge went straight down on him, almost took him in for a ride there. All drivers remaining clean, though. Good save for Sparkalicious and good timing to get back out of that. But here he comes yet again, trying to get that inside line to work. Sludge, though, backs on and gets that door slammed again. And now he's got a bit of a run and a push out of the back straight away here. Here comes Bottles of Throttle trying to close the door yet again. But she goes way up wide. Here comes Sludge down the bottom. Sludge with the run, trying to get it to work and get it to stick. They're going to go side by side down the front straight away. Anybody's race here down at the end. We're coming down to the last 15 laps in this one. Holy smokes, folks. Look at this here. Sludge with the run. Sparkalicious trying to get in there. And Pottles of Throttle doing every which way she can to defend and keep him away from taking the lead. What a move, though, from Sludge, as he is now one step closer to getting up into that top half, folks. He's looking for that win for sure, and he's been looking for that season championship all season long. What a way it would be to go out on this one. Sparkalicious, though, is trying not to give either one of them too much of a draft because you can't overdraft one and not the other. And you got to believe if you give Sludge that draft, he's going to just run away from you. They've got to be careful on how they maintain this one here, folks.
Right, I think what he's doing, you can see him switching lanes every so often. He was trying his best to keep them side by side because honestly that's what benefits him. Because if they're side by side, they're not driving as fast as they can drive. And the 20, way down on the apron, he's going to get tight on exit. That opens the door for the Pottles on the bottom, and she's now going to be fighting back in the reverse image of what we saw last lap. To the lead goes the 10, just barely sliding up in front of him. Man, that was a really close call. Props to the spotter for clearing her so quick there, but man, the 16 also just trying to get to that outside. Pottles gets loose. Down to the bottom, there goes the 16. Two of the top three get loose out of turn 2, and yet the running order has not changed. It is the same as before they nearly wrecked. This is insane.
This is insane indeed. You got a good look from the camera. What the heck they're seeing right now. Pottles, whoa, easy, Pottles, hang on there, girl. Sludge in that number 20 trying to find every which way he can to get around him. He's just trying everything, hitting his mark, hitting his spot. But the thing is, that draft from Sparky has been giving her a little bit of help, giving her the run, if you will. And these guys just keep going back and forth at one another. But Sparkalicious is now trying to get to the inside of Sludge, trying to steal that second place spot away from him. And right in the back, don't look now, the one, do not you ever mess with her. Texas McCarthy is now starting to insert her name into the picture as they're going to go side by side yet again for the lead. We're down to the last 10 laps, folks. What on earth is going to happen here? Holy smokes.
This is absolutely insane, and if I was a pit crew right now, I would not even want to be thinking about what they're doing to these tires right now because, the 10 car bounces off the wall.
On the backstretch into the wall, and Sludge is going to get the run off of that. They connect Sparkalicious and Pottles out of turn 3 into 4. A big problem and a big contact, but wait a minute, we are coming to a restart. The caution's out.
Yeah, that is a game caution, too. That was not called by the stewards here. This is a game caution. I'm going through the field trying to see who might have been involved. If I had to guess, it might be JR. He's got a lot of front-end damage, and he's a little bit further back in the running order than he was before this yellow. So I'm not 100% sure, but that is my gut feeling that it might have been something involving him. He's had a tough race tonight, unfortunately. He's had a lot of speed and just got caught up in some stuff. But this is interesting because who takes tires and who doesn't?
But man, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm speechless. These guys, for those last 10 laps, just put on a show, trying to overtake one another and trying to outdo each other. Sludge finally found something and found the opening he was looking for. The caution came out at a time he didn't want to see it. Will this restart be the time? Will this be his moment? Or will Sparkalicious finally get his curse broken and finally win his first season championship? Or can Pottles of Throttle return to victory lane and prove why she is still one of the elites out in the world of league racing? And don't count out, don't mess with Texas McCarthy in that number 22.
Here goes.
Sparkalicious sees the opening from Sludge. Sludge slams the door, though. Sparkalicious will have to find a way around. Pottles of Throttle up high, trying to bring it back down and get back into this. These three drivers are the ones to watch out for. These guys are going to give everything they have just to make the win, to finally get the season championship. We're down to the last 4 laps remaining in this one.
The 16 and the 10 battling is exactly what the 20 truck wants to see, because that's going to allow him to pull away a little bit, give him some breathing room. We're on lap 72 of 75, coming to lap 73 this time at the stripe, and the Pottles is going to make a move down low. Not quite enough. Yes, it is enough. She is down low at his quarter panel, I do believe. Maybe not quite enough.
Was at the quarter panel, trying to get back underneath, trying to steal it from Sludge. Oh, contact from Sludge there, but manages to hold off. The bump did not affect either one. We're down
Here
to
she
the
comes.
3 laps. Here we go, folks.
Gonna get a good run out of the corner.
Woo, look at this. Sludge is backed off. Wait a minute. He's lost power there, but he brings it back in. He's back on the track and back in it. They are side by side, connecting down the back stretch, the front stretch through turn 4. The battle for the lead. We're down to 2 to go. Oh my goodness, folks, look at this. Incredible! The battle for the lead. The championship's on the line. Sparkalicious is just watching this and thinking, please, please, give me one more run, one more chance. But Pottles the throttle with the run. Contact out of the back straightaway here, going into turn 3 into 4. Look at this. Pottles the throttle with a little bit more of a run on entry, but the exit's where you want to be. Sludge now giving a bit of a run. Contact. These two are going back and forth with one another. Robin is definitely racing. White flag is out. Sparkalicious, the number 16, gonna give it everything he's got to the end here. Pottles the throttle staying up high. Sludge gonna keep the low line. These guys are side by side, and Pottles the throttle with the inside line out, picks it out Sludge. Pottles has got the lead down the back stretch. Look at this behind her. Sparkalicious has made it in out of turn 3 into 4. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot give but a hand to all 4 of these guys, but Pottles the throttle, after so many seasons without a championship, has returned to PTS victory lane for the Season 6 Truck Series Championship.
Man, that was something.
My goodness.
That was interesting. I can't believe how she was able to get around him on the high side. Kentucky, you don't do that here. You don't pass on the high side here.
You don't pass?
How did she do that?
How do you do that? You don't pass there, but yet she did. She made it work and made it stick. Sludge got loose, lost ground, lost time, and everything else just came into play for Pottles and Sparkalicious. Sparkalicious had a chance. He was going to go 3 wide out of turn 1, going into turn 1, and it just didn't quite get there. But nonetheless, after so many seasons without a win, after so many championships lost due to bad breaks and bad luck, finally, though, you got to give your hand and give the applause to all of them, but you got to say flat out, these last 3 races were all about Pottles finally returning to the top of the mountain. The Queen has returned to her throne as she is the Season 6 season champion.
Something to point out.
Oh my.
The gap between the fastest lap and the second fastest lap is 1/1000th of a second.
You gotta be kidding me, really?
Yep, it was a 949 to a 950. That was something. Wow.
Damn. I know I don't cuss on this stuff, but damn.
It's not often you see something like that. That's just another.
When do you see this? When do you?
In the PTM League, of course.
Of course.
But man, what a race. What a great job by Pottles getting that highline move done late into the race. I think Sludge's downfall there was just that he had used his car up so much.